Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to All Praise Picks. Today we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers playing against the San Diego Padres on June 20th, 2024. The Brewers are currently 44-30, which is first place in the NL Central, and the San Diego Padres are 38-40, which is second place in the NL West. And both teams just finished up a series. The Brewers just finished their series against the Angels, and they were playing already on the West Coast. And the Padres just finished their East Coast road trip against the Phillies and the Mets, and they'll be returning home with only 1 day of rest. So I do lean towards the Brewers in this game just due to the time zone differences that they'll be facing. But the Padres are at home, so they do have some familiarity with their home field, and this should be a good game overall to watch. So I have two parlays for this game, both on BetMGM. As always, I'll break down the lines, give you my thoughts, and hopefully if you tap in, we can all win. So this is the first parlay that I have at minus 140. It's a 3-leg parlay. And as I mentioned before, I do lean towards the Brewers winning this game, mainly because of the time zone differences that the Padres will face coming from the East Coast back to the West Coast and having to play a game with less than a day rest. So I do have the Brewers scoring over 3 runs in this game. The Padres are starting Adam Mazur, who is right-handed pitcher, but so far in his starts, he's 0-2 with a 7.82 ERA and a 4.48 expected ERA and a 2.05 WHIP. And essentially what that means is that he gives up a lot of runs, and even though his expected ERA is far lower than his current ERA, having a 4.48 ERA is very high, even though that's his expected ERA. So I do think that the Brewers will be able to put up runs in this game. Adam Mazur also struggles against left-handed hitters with his strikeout rate at only 13.1% and his walk rate at 21.3%. He is like highly likely to give up a lot of hits and a lot of potential runs to the Brewers, and I think that them scoring over 3 in this game is very likely. I also think that the total number of runs in this game could go over 5, and the Brewers may be able to put up 5 runs on their own in this game. But I do think that with the Padres being back home, they do have a good chance of at least scoring 1 run. In the Brewers' last game, they beat the Angels 2-0, which is it was a good win for them defensively, but I don't think that that'll continue in terms of such a low-scoring game. So I do think that the total of this game will go over 5 runs, and I do have the Milwaukee Brewers at plus 1.5 run line spread. Even though I do think that they could win this game, I took that as just a safeguard against any random possibilities that could happen in any baseball game. So at minus 140, if you bet 1 unit, essentially you get 71% return on your investment, which is a decent return on investment, and it's always great if it wins. So I would just advise you guys to have financial consciousness and overall just a betting awareness of how much money you're spending or how much you're putting into the sportsbook when making your decision. So this is the next parlay that I have at plus 140, and essentially I think that the Brewers starting pitcher will just give up fewer hits and fewer home runs overall in the innings that he pitches compared to the Padres pitcher. So the Brewers are starting Brees Wilson, who is 4-3 in his starts and has a 3.84 ERA and a 1.25 WHIP. And I think that comparatively to Mazur, whose stats I mentioned before, he should have a much better game. And I just felt the most comfortable taking the fewest hits because they're professional baseball players, so any player could hit a home run or get a couple base hits. But I do think that the fewest number of hits will go towards the Brewers starting pitcher in Wilson. And I also have the Brewers run line spread at plus 1.5, which I mentioned before as a safeguard to any other possibilities that could happen in the baseball game. So at plus 140, if you bet 1 unit, you get 140% return on your investment, which is more than double and is great. But I've just, as always, advise you guys to have financial consciousness and overall just betting awareness of how much money you're putting into the sportsbook before you place the bet. But appreciate you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more MLB and WNBA videos coming out later this week. But until then, peace out.